I feel like I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, but like every time I started making it, there'd be something about my desk that I wanted to change before I actually did. But I feel like I'm at a point now where like I like my setup, I enjoy working here, and I think is at a good place where I can finally make this video for 2024. Because I'm sure by this time next year, I will have changed something drastically again. At the base of any desk setup is the actual desk, and I'm using the Jarvis standing desk from Fully with the 48 by 30 inch bamboo top and the white legs. And I really like this style. I'm coming from like an IKEA walnut butcher block with black legs. I decided to just try something new with this, and I'm enjoying it so far. The movement is really smooth, and the contour on the front is nice to have. Like I originally was just planning on getting the rectangle, but I like having that extra space on either side of my desk just to kind of put a couple of extra things if I need to. And I ended up getting this off of Facebook Marketplace, and it came with a couple of accessories. So I have the monitor riser, which is great for organization and keeping the desk clear so all the little stuff is just kind of elevated. But I wish it was mounted a little more forward or like sat on the desk itself as opposed to clamping to the back, just so I could push it fully up against the wall. It also came with one of these top mounted surge protectors, which I probably would have gotten on my own, and I don't use it very often. But it has been nice to just have quick access to power for like my soldering iron and just plugging in my batteries for my camera or any other random thing that I need to charge without having that cable always wired in or having to reach underneath my desk for power. For cable management, it is a little hard with a desk that goes up and down, but since I keep everything on the desk, I also just attach the surge protector to the desk that I keep everything plugged into. So I only really need to worry about the one cable coming from my desk and going to the wall. Also underneath my desk is the Bambu Lab X1, and with the wheels, the AMS fits just perfectly on top of the printer and like barely clears the middle bar. I was a little bit worried about like kicking it or something while I'm sitting here, but since I have the wheels, I could just pull the desk forward like a couple of inches if I really need to, but it hasn't really been a problem. My old desk had wheels, and it was really nice to be able to just take it and move it somewhere else, both for having a little bit more of a flexible workspace so I can film in a bunch of different angles, but also just be able to change up my environment a little bit every once in a while helps me think. And for the chair, this is actually the newest part of my setup. FlexiSpot sent over their C7 ergonomic chair a couple weeks ago, and it's been a really nice upgrade. When I'm working on like a long edit or have a lot of back-to-back meetings, just having a nice, comfortable ergonomic chair is super helpful. And the C7 has a ton of adjustability from the armrest to the seat depth and tilt, so you can really customize it to work best for you. I personally really like the adaptive lumbar support, so whether I'm sitting forward or leaning back, there's still plenty of support on my back. And I ended up going with the foam seat, but you can also get a mesh one if that's what you prefer. Also, I'm like a relatively larger person, so finding a chair that's like comfortable for me is sometimes kind of annoying, where I either sit too low or like it just feels too narrow. But the C7 is designed to accommodate, a variety of sizes of people, so it's comfortable no matter where you fall on that spectrum. And if you want to get one for yourself, you can use the code C730 for $30 off your order. And shout out to FlexiSpot for sending this over. I think the C7 was that final piece that I needed to make this my ideal setup. But moving on to what's actually on my desk, I try to keep it relatively organized, and I did organize it for this video, but it does end up getting pretty cluttered as I work and start new projects in the middle of other projects and just do my day-to-day. For the monitor, I have a studio display with the nano textured glass, and I actually really love it. Especially with this big window here, I get a lot of glare at some points in the day, so it's been nice to have that matte finish. I've been using it regularly for like 2 years, and I don't think I would trade it for anything else. I've tried a couple of different monitors in the past, but I feel like this is just the one that works best for me, and it also looks really good. And powering that is my M3 Max MacBook Pro in Space Black, which I usually keep open so I can, 1, have a second display, and 2, I can use the built-in keyboard and trackpad on a regular basis. I really like using a laptop as my main computer so I can unplug it and take it with me, either to work at a coffee shop or while I'm traveling, and I have that same power that I would while I was at home. And since Apple Silicon's been out, I feel like I've never missed out on like having any power or performance by not having a desktop. I do also have another MacBook on my desk at all times for work, and I honestly haven't come up with a good system yet for having both of them at the same time and switching back and forth between them. So I usually just end up with one of them plugged into the studio display and closed, while I use the other one as a laptop. And for inputs, I feel like I go back and forth a lot. Sometimes I like having 3 inputs at once. I have the MX Vertical, my keyboard, and a trackpad. But a lot of the time, I just end up using the MacBook's built-in keyboard and trackpad because it's consistent and there. But also for like the muscle memory of shortcuts, it's just a lot more convenient to use the same setup either at home or when I'm on the go. And that's like the core of my setup that I use to get all of my work done. But outside of the computer stuff, I have a HomePod Mini that really just controls some smart plugs and sets timers. I 3D printed this little drawer so I can keep all that small random stuff in one place. I also 3D printed some of these cable clips to hold my chargers so they're out of the way, but still easily accessible when I need them. And plugged into one of them is the Anker 3-in-1 charging cube. And I really like using this when I travel since I just need the one thing with one USB-C cable to charge my phone, watch, and AirPods. And when I'm just sitting here working, I put my phone on it so I can just have standby mode up for my calendar. Also on the monitor shelf, I keep my blue light glasses, which I kind of like for long computer sessions. And also like my most used camera gear, the rest of it just sits in a drawer until I need it. On the left side, I have the X100V, and on the right side, I have the Sony 16-35 power zoom and a Helios lens. I'm shooting on the FX3 and the Tamron 28-75 right now, but usually these would also be living on the shelf. I like having these kind of like right in front of me so that whenever I have an idea for a video or I want to start working on a video, that like barrier to entry is pretty much zero. I can just grab the camera, grab the lens, and get to making stuff. And up on the wall, I have a couple of shelves with just some stuff that I've gotten over the years I just think is really cool to have around. On the bottom shelf, I have some Android pins for Mobile World Congress, this matte black Rubik's Cube, a neon Create sign, and my old iPhone 5. And on the top shelf, I have a clapperboard, a color checker, and a film camera that I've been waiting to finish so I can make a dispo lens, this giant keyboard key that I actually got at a local keyboard shop in San Jose, and a couple of badges from some of my favorite events that I've gone to in the past couple of years. But that's the setup. It's always evolving and changing, and like things come and go, or I 3D print a new accessory to hold something and then I get rid of it because I don't like it anymore. But at its core, I can sit down, be comfortable for extended periods of time if I need to be, and get work done. I'm gonna try and link everything that I talked about down in the description, along with the C7 ergonomic chair from FlexiSpot. But thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos about tech, cameras, and making. Here's a video about the Bambu Lab X1, and here's a video that YouTube thinks you're like the best.